Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to today's conversation. My name is Samuel K. Gichuhi. The world we are living in is changing. It's changing quietly, but it's changing very fast. Changing quietly, but changing very quickly. In many ways, this world is changing in ways that are very permanent. A few years ago, many people thought artificial intelligence was a science fiction, something for Hollywood movies, distant laboratories, or wealthy technology companies in the Silicon Valley. But today, AI is writing, AI is speaking, AI is creating music, AI is generating images, AI is helping businesses. AI is reshaping education. AI is actually influencing communication. And increasingly, AI is beginning to affect the way human beings think, work, learn, create, and even perceive reality itself. Things are not always the way they appear or the way they seem. The photograph you saw yesterday or that you are seeing today may not be real. It may appear real, but probably it is not. The voice that you listened to may not be human. The video you watched may never have happened. The article you read in the media may have been generated by AI. You probably read a comment that irritated you. It was probably generated by AI. And the confidence with which something is presented is no longer proof of truth. We are entering a world where seeing is no longer necessarily believing. We used to say to see is to believe. And yet, within this uncertainty also lies extraordinary opportunities. I sometimes see myself as a man standing in the middle of a busy modern interchange, surrounded by screens, smartphones, satellites, artificial intelligence, digital currencies, and instant communication. But yet, having come from a dusty village footpath, you see, I remember the days we used to listen to radio. It was a basic means of communication. Families would gather around one radio as though it were a village elder carrying news from distant lands. I remember personally writing letters through the post office. Would carefully write a letter, and there was a formal way of doing it. Then we fold it, put it into an envelope, and we would probably use saliva to stick the envelope. Then we would put stamps. Some of you listening to me today don't even know what stamps are all about. And then we would wait after posting it for days, sometimes for weeks, or even months. I remember also the telephone booths, the way you used to line up in the telephone booths preparing to make a call. And you would watch your time, hoping that the guy ahead of you, would finish quickly so that it is your turn. And you're also praying that whoever it is that you're calling on the other end will be ready so that you don't waste your precious coins. How about the photography? I remember the Fuji cameras and Fuji films. The cameraman would come and take the photos and take a number of days or even weeks before bringing the developed images. Then came the television. then the computers, then the internet, then mobile phones, and today the smartphone that has revolutionized the way we do stuff. But over and above the issue of smartphones, we now have AI, artificial intelligence. Ladies and gentlemen, within one human lifetime, because I've seen it all, humanity has moved from village footpaths to digital superhighways. And the speed of change is accelerating. Things are changing in a very, very fast pace. In 1980, less than 1% of the world had internet access. Today, more than 5 billion people are connected digitally. Imagine. A message that once took weeks through the post office now travels across continents in less than a second through short message services, emails, and so on and so forth. A student once spent days searching through library shelves for information. Today, a smartphone can retrieve millions of results almost instantly. Tasks that once required offices, the tasks that required specialists, tasks that once required expensive equipment, or entire departments in the government and in the private sector, those tasks can now sometimes be performed by one individual with AI tools and an internet connection. A musician can compose from a bedroom. All they need is a smartphone, an internet connection, and of course the AI tools. One teacher can reach thousands of students online. Even a small business can market globally with the advent of technology and AI. A young person in a rural village can now access tools that previously belonged only to large corporations. And these changes can be seen in all sectors, including transport. Now we have Uber, we have driverless vehicles, journeys that were measured in days by walking, and then after that bicycle, and then buses, and cars, and then the aeroplane. All those are happening very fast today. And of course, there are discussions now already taking place, emerging around autonomous vehicles, drone delivery, drone delivery systems, and AI-controlled transport networks. The old world is colliding with the new. There was a time information was scarce, and I lived in those days myself personally. Today, information is overflowing. There was a time when people struggled to access knowledge, and I am telling you, it used to be a huge struggle. Now people struggle to filter knowledge because there is an avalanche of knowledge in our day and time. There was a time when machines replaced physical labor, the industrial age. But now, as we sit here today, machines are beginning to challenge cognitive labor. And this raises uncomfortable but necessary questions. We ask ourselves, what now happens to work? What happens to the truth? Because even lies appear like the truth. What happens to creativity when we have machines that can imitate human intelligence? What happens to trust? What becomes of education? What happens to human meaning? But perhaps most importantly, how should human beings live wisely in a rapidly changing technological civilization? These are not merely technical questions. These are human questions. This platform, Samuel K. Gichuhi channel, exists to explore these issues. I do not position myself as a Silicon Valley guru. I'm not. I do not come here driven by fear again, and I'm not here to hype anybody. I do not come here with the assumption that I have all the answers. Of course, I don't. I come as a curious observer, a thoughtful African voice. I come to you as a fellow traveler, a student of both scripture and society, trying to understand the changing realities of our time with wisdom, discernment, humility, and practical understanding. Together, we shall ask difficult questions. We shall compare the old world and the emerging one. We shall explore opportunities. We shall confront deception. We shall discuss artificial intelligence, faith, creativity, work, online income, truth, human purpose, and the future that is already arriving quietly around us. Humanity has created machines that can imitate intelligence, while human beings themselves are now being forced to rediscover wisdom. So, once again, welcome to the conversation. We travel together, we ask these questions together. Let us observe carefully. Let us think clearly together. And above all, let us learn how to live wisely in the new reality, because AI is here to stay. We better align ourselves and use AI in a way that glorifies God and in a way that benefits us and our fellow human beings. My name is Samuel K. Gichuhi, and this is Wisdom for a Changing World. May God bless you and keep you. See you in the next one.